Regal Movie Masters. Unlimited.
This is the Regal Movie Masters Unlimited podcast where we indiscriminately watch every goddamn movie that comes out at the local theater. This time around we got a threefer. We got Wakanda Forever, we got Tar, and we got the Banshees of Inisherin. And, a less scrupulous group would probably put the big blockbuster at the end, right? So you have to sit through the other two. Not here. You got places to be. You got people to go. We got Wakanda Forever right off the top. This is the follow-up. I guess it's hard to say what the last Black Panther movie is. It's not like a direct sequel to the first one because it technically comes after a million other fucking Marvel movies that tangentially involve the Black Panther. But definitely after Endgame. So this is our return to Wakanda. It is notably and woefully bereft of the legendary Chadwick Boseman. And this movie does, I think, a really impressive job kind of sending him off while also setting up the next chapter in the Wakanda saga. I'm amped up. I'm juiced.
Why are you so
juiced? Because I think this is why I like these movies. I like good Marvel movies. Well, no, I shouldn't even say Marvel movies. I just like superhero movies.
Okay.
There was a time when I was pretty consistently down for like everyone that came out. Even the shitty ones had something for me. And as of late, it's been about 50-50, I think. And this is the 50 on the good side, the 50 on the bad side. And this is to these films' fault, is like when they're bad, at least in recent years, I feel like they're really bad and really long and really boring and really dragged out and just a general huge waste of resources, you know? Because I can kind of understand when a movie is like, oh, this isn't for me, but I could tell this appeals to a lot of other people. Yeah, I kind of felt that with the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Garfield?
Yeah.
That Garfield man?
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Garfield in those movies. I watched those movies when they came out, and I was like, I don't really like these, but they're so youth-oriented, I can kind of be like, okay, someone likes these movies, just not for me, an adult man. I guess arguably, if I was an intelligent adult man, none of these fucking movies would be for me. But since I'm a certified dum-dum, they mostly are. But a lot of these movies that have been coming out aren't even at that Amazing Spider-Man level where it's like, it's not for me, but they're for someone. This is like, what the fuck is, no offense everyone, who the fuck is Aquaman for? Like, who is stoked on Eternals? Like, they're so just, I don't know, mind-numbing, I guess, where it's just like, this is no one's. This is a waste of resources. That's how I feel like when these movies are bad. And this movie, to me, has the things I like a lot about these movies, which is like incredible feats of heroism and inhuman spectacle. Simple kind of like, not morality tales necessarily, but like using the superhero genre as an allegory for some sort of larger, like a issue of the human condition, When they're good, they always kind of are. And this movie is that in spades. And it's world building in a huge way. You talk about a waste of resources, right? If you're, chastising these films, you'd say like, oh, these are just for the fucking masses. You've cut out, any kind of auteurship or storytelling. They just have to be such manufactured products that they're boring, right? The other side of that is because they're so manufactured and they're so expensive, you can do fucking crazy bonkers shit with it. For example, show a war between a fucking super teched out hidden kingdom versus a fucking aqua goddamn warriors. You don't get to do that properly or with the right resources if you don't appeal to everyone kind of have the promise of a whole lot of money coming in. So this to me was like great. Or one of my big complaints with a lot of these movies is that a lot of times they're stories that don't really need to be set in the Marvel universe, or they don't need to be working with pre-existing IP, like Moon Knight that was on Disney. That was a show that's like, it doesn't have anything to do with this world they built. I mean, it was interesting in the comics. It was very fucking interesting when it came out, the idea of having like 3 secret identities. A little twist, but like, this could have been an original story, the Moon Knight. Whereas this Wakanda movie, like fucking just whipping the dick out of Namor, like right out the gate.
Yeah.
Like lore, history, world building, boom, it's all there. Yeah, I was just so juiced to see like all the things I like in these movies. I think the last big spectacle kind of film was that Spider-Man movie. I walked away out of that movie with the same feeling as this movie, which is like, I never seen that shit before. You got fucking Doc Ock from the goddamn Tobey Maguire movies. This is fucking bonkers. Like you're breaking all the rules. This guy's off the chains, man. You're a loose cannon, Marvel. You can't have all these universes going crazy like this.
This is the multiverse done right.
Insanity. I loved it. I loved that movie so much, and that's again the huge exclamation point spectacle that I like about these movies when they're done right. This movie had some of that, and I just have a lot of respect, I guess, for being able to pull off big, huge spectacle and have it actually be effective rather than just a smear of green screen. I've gone on too much. What do you guys think?
Well, I got one thing.
Yes, sir.
You know how I know you're juiced?
Oh, how do you know I'm fucking pumped?
You didn't introduce us the first 7 minutes.
So true, King. Our movie masters today are Justine.
Hi.
Brent.
Hello.
And Dylan.
Hello.
I'm Colin.
You just went
I'm
right
so
in.
He's also holding a thing in his hand and like
He's like
working
squeezing
it.
it.
Yeah.
The little
Yeah,
like
those little
the eyes are
pumpkin.
popping out of
Yeah,
that little thing.
Yeah, a little squeezy thing.
I love this version of Colin.
Yeah, no, I'm sipping on coffee.
Yeah.
Who didn't
It's 1
even
a.m.
bother.
1 a.m. because we went to watch this fucking movie at 9 o'clock and it's 3 goddamn hours.
Do that.
I'm excited. I am the fucking guy with the open mouth pointing at screen with the Marvel Studios logo. That's me right now. I'm just look.
Oh, speaking of the way they did the Marvel logo.
So fucking cool.
That was so sweet.
Jesus.
I love that they played it in silence too.
Proper. Right at the beginning, like fuck you beginning. Like we're going right from the goddamn Regal
Fuck
Unlimited
you
commercial right into dialogue.
Yeah,
Blank
right away.
screen, no logos. Oh man. And again, I don't mean to dominate the mic here. I'm excited, okay? Like the very impossible, brutal task of addressing the loss of Chadwick Boseman, who defined this character. And I mean, I'm deep with the comic book presentations of Black Panther. I've read everything up till the Dwayne McDuffie run. I really like this character, and the way they presented him in these movies has been fucking amazing. Like the first Black Panther, and even going back to Winter Soldier, where he first appears. They honor the lore of the comics, the world building that they did in the 70s with the Wakanda stuff. It was really well done, I thought. And Chadwick Boseman was just a fucking guy, man. One of my favorite comic book adaptations. He brought that. It was amazing what he did. And to lose him, the central figure of this huge fucking world, nearly impossible task to pull off. And if they just kind of breezed it off, it wouldn't work. It's to sort of properly respect the guy, and what he contributed to, the fucking genre of comic book movies. There's so many ways they could have gotten it wrong, but I think they did it right. They have a legitimate moment of silence, that fucking logo that's all the scenes that he was in, or that's just made up of the Black Panther stuff, as opposed to where they usually just have a collage of, oh cool, there's Hawkman. No, this shit's all him. They do the fucking black and purple instead of the red and the white.
PMS color match to to be that specific purple is beautiful. And on that massive screen.
Yeah, proper.
So clean, so quiet. And then everybody in the theater just stopped eating.
Yeah.
They stopped drinking. They just sat there and let it soak in. That was really cool.
Yes, a proper moment of silence before the flick began. And then of course, weaved into the movie is mourning and loss. He's gone, not comic book died, thrown off a building. Hey, we're losing him to a disease. And that's how the movie opens, and we all got to deal with it. And I just thought that was honest and well handled, just impressive in a world of where they could have been really tacky about it.
Yeah, weaving reality into it absolutely added gravity to the loss of the character. And yeah, I think it would have gone with something different, within harmed in battle. You know what I mean?
Right,
We don't know
right.
if he's gonna make it or whatever. It's a different weight than being he died from a disease in real life and in the movie.
Yeah.
I was afraid I was going to cry going into it. I was like, oh no, I'm scared of watching this, because as soon as he put anything on the screen about
Yeah.
him, I'm just going to tear up. And I did, but it was really well done. I felt kind of weird wondering, in the scenes where people are mourning T'Challa, it's man, how much of this do you think is them just really
100%.
having the moment?
Probably 100%, because that crew was really tight.
Yeah.
Even the director, a lot of them had certain feelings coming out of, him passing so suddenly because he didn't tell anybody. Basically, they looked at the director and said, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, well, Kaluuya couldn't be a part of it because he was filming Nope, but it seemed like everybody else is back.
Yeah, and I think the mourning and the grief of the real person and the character all rung true. And I think we're at kind of a different place with these movies now than we were maybe like 10 years ago, even, where they are such products now that like a lot of those kind of human elements of even like an Iron Man 3, let's say, or like an Ant-Man, stories that feel more American or are based on like humor or relationships that are more localized. I see a lot of these movies coming out, those kind of moments are eschewed. And like if there's a weak point in this movie, it's the human elements and relationship stuff. It's just so like, you are my mother and I miss you. You are my enemy and I will kill you. Like, okay, anyone, any age, any country, everyone's going to understand this.
We hid your nephew from you.
I want that guy back. But the grieving stuff and all that, I think, cut through all of that nonsense. Obviously, it needed it contextually, but I think there's a point with movies where it's so fucking wild and spectacular and fantastic that you don't need fucking family drama stories. Or like, I'll forgive all of the shortcomings in terms of well-written dialogue and all that if it's like, yo, there's a fucking whale. And he's launching a bunch of fucking soldiers at a battleship. This is fucking wild. That shit delivered in spades, man. I connected to all of that. I was on the edge of my seat.
I was wondering what the movie would have been if Chadwick Boseman was still involved in it.
Okay.
Like what the story was going to be. Maybe they had to make the other story like
Right.
around it more simple since there's so much of it taken up by T'Challa being gone. And I feel like the queen dying was probably the main thing
Right.
that would have happened in whatever movie they were originally writing. So then it would have been just like a story about getting revenge versus, like doing what's best for your people. I feel like it maybe was a little rushed because they wanted to fit in something that was more important.
Right.
I forgive them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't mean to get too into the what if factor here, but there's a world where T'Challa takes the herb and then goes and talks to Killmonger face to face. That scene would have been fucking gnarly. That was probably how it was originally written. I would imagine.
Did you entertain the notion that Shuri could die at the end there?
I mean, having that much death in the movie already, it's like, come on, they're not gonna. The good guy does have to win. I was a little worried, and this is a fault of a lot of Marvel movies going back from the beginning. They actually work on giving you a good villain, and then they fucking kill him, and then he can't come back. I was worried because like Namor was on the ropes. Could have happened, and I was like, are they gonna fucking do they really fucking work this goddamn hard to put Namor in this movie just to fucking wipe him out?
Yeah.
Saw trap.
Yeah, everyone can get
The
it.
trap of Saw.
But it was a Thanos type villain where you're like, well, he's got a point.
He's got some points. Yeah.
Got a lot of points. I think you know what? I'm with him.
Yeah.
There was a part when they're fighting or the Dora Milaje are like fighting on the side of the ship. That was really cool. But during that scene, I was kind of like, I don't know who I'm going for right now. Like they both want to keep vibranium away from people.
I was rooting for them to team up and set the world on fire. Like early on in the movie, it's kind of like a jarring line when she said that. You're like, whoa, she is going through some grief. And then when that idea was proposed from Namor, I was like, oh, I would like that. Yeah, because it's a movie. It's not. They're not going to actually burn us. They're not going to come to burn us. Like we're fine.
Yeah.
Dylan, when Namor was revealed, what'd you think of the character design? Were you into like the wings on the feet?
Yeah, no, that was
the
cool.
look?
At first, I couldn't tell what was happening because the sound of his like wings, the sound was really like weird. And I was like, no way there's fucking fish on his fucking ankle. And I was like, no fucking way. Why does it sound like that? And then like when they kind of got close to it,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, they're just wings, like normal wings. They're not fishes. Nothing fucking weird is happening with Namor. It's fine. But I will say, like, for some reason, seeing like Wakanda fight a bunch of avatars, I was just like, no, I'm not watching a Marvel movie for some reason. Then like a mention that I forgot her name right now. Like she's like, when the Thanos snap happened, I was like, oh, that's right. This is a Marvel movie. Holy shit. I like forgot. Like all that, again, all that Avatar shit. I like really forgot that I was watching a Marvel movie.
That is such a salient point because there was a point where I leaned into Colin and I go, I bet James Cameron is so fucking
Yeah.
pissed right now. I was like, this is the Avatar movie we deserve.
This is the sequel.
Because it's just like they're just fighting and they're badass at it. So I don't know. Why do I need to see Avatar at this point?
And all that underwater shit with the Namor Kingdom, that was just like, hey, Aquaman, go fuck yourself.
And also like, hey, Star Wars prequels with Jar Jar. Go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of that when I was watching it. I was like, God, this is kind of like what I would have wanted the prequels to be. You know, like just kingdoms kind of divided and factions, all that fucking world building shit. It was like, this is so fucking cool. And that goes back to the comics too, because you got like these 4 kingdoms, right? Oh, the other Wakanda and Namor shit. It's Atlantis in the comics, ain't it? I think they both have Atlantis, Aquaman and Namor, but Namor's kingdom, and then Latvia, which is Doctor Doom shit, which is fucking hard, and the Inhumans, their secret world. So like we got 2 out of 4, and technically we've seen the fucking Inhuman shit, but I don't think they're holding us to it, and it's just a slow crawl to get to Latveria. You know, it's inevitable, but like showing this cool ass fucking underwater kingdom, and that's what I loved about the first Black Panther. Is like I couldn't tell you really the beats of the plot or anything. It was just like this fucking kingdom, all the different tribes, all the different fucking leaders of the tribes, the fucking world of Wakanda that's what I liked about the first Black Panther movie. So like, show me a whole nother kingdom with this shit and take me back to fucking this Wakanda place with a whole Afrofuturism thing. It was like, damn, you guys gave it all to me. So if they can keep building cool kingdoms like this, Latveria is going to be fucking cool as shit, and maybe they can give the Inhumans or propers.
But they're
and
not
give them
like
someplace.
technologically advanced.
Latveria?
Yeah, right? Not ancient, like medieval. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also like the people of Latveria are like stoked on Doom because he protects them, because he's like this technocratic overlord. You know, if it's gonna be on the big screen, it's gonna be like not steampunk, I guess. What's fucking? Do they got some shit for like medieval futurism? Yeah, it's gonna be some like catapults that shoot laser bolts and fucking swords and shields that are all fucking lasery and shit. It's gonna be dope. Show me some more fucking kingdoms. They're gonna make a lot of money with this.
So what was cool about the Water Kingdom for me is like it's actually super rooted in Mayan and Yucatan Peninsula culture.
Yes.
Like they even have that I forget what it's called, but it's that vertical hoop. I know that the hypothesis is that in ancient times you'd take severed heads and throw it through there,
Right.
and then like the winner of that game would get sacrificed at the top of Chichen Itza. You know, like so because it was considered an honor to be sacrificed to the gods, so people would compete for that.
Dylan, you had some historical importance to the hand greeting that they were giving to each
no.
other.
You brought this up. I didn't want.
You're
to
really
bring it up.
forcing this issue on Dylan.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why you're making me the fucking talking point, but I never really read a Namor comic.
Guess what? No one has.
I don't like. I can't.
Oh, The Rock has. When he was a kid, he read Black Adam comics and Namor comics.
And here's the thing. I don't even know if Namor's people like look like that in the comics. Like I don't know if they're like
I don't think they do.
Yeah, are they blue like that? Like
I don't
like
know.
Avatar?
I have a theory on that. I think because in the actual Yucatan Peninsula, like you would go to those cenotes and they're all just cerulean blue. Like it's like this most intense blue you've ever seen. So for that to be like their mineral that they consume or whatever, you know, like that gives them the powers.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool because again, it's based in something that is prevalent in that area.
Were they blue underwater, or
No,
was that
only on land? This vibranium or whatever it is that
Yeah.
is in the plant is like in them, so they're blue.
and how do they greet each other?
It's a hand signal.
The hand signal?
It's like damn it, I can't think of his name.
Well, Dylan, I like that he's trying to get you to talk about a hand signal on a podcast.
I know. It's like not Lucifer. What's that dude's name?
God,
No, the other Lucifer.
Jesus,
No, he's like this.
Mike,
Oh,
Baphomet.
Baphmet. Yeah, they do like a almost Baphomet. Is that what you're trying to say? You fucking weirdo.
All right.
No. It's very again, having never read a Namor book, I don't know if this is how they do it, but it was very close to a Dragon Ball Z hand signal for a Kamehameha, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, unless it's something I'm missing, I have no idea. But I was really like thrown off every time they did it. I couldn't take it seriously every time I saw it. It was crazy. But like,
because the Wakandans have the X thing. And
yes. And then
the Namor guys do a Hadouken at you.
yeah,
It's for the kids, to do on the playground
course.
the night after the day after they see it. I mean, it's not
just-
gonna be for you.
but it's just like, what is that? Is like, again, is there something I'm missing? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it is something in Aztec culture and I just like don't know about. But like,
They're
like
Mayans.
Mayans. Yeah, my
Mayan.
bad. Mayans. Anyway, but it was very reminiscing of my childhood.
That does bring me to the other thing I loved about this movie, which is that there's like just comic book stupid shit happening.
Oh, yeah.
Like the sirens in the fucking ocean. They have a siren call in the ocean that makes people jump off and that can be blocked by putting earplugs in.
Common
That's-
earplugs.
That is
Yeah,
fucking
regular earplugs.
that is comic book dumb. The fucking flying ankles, like that shit was
It's gross looking.
listen, X-Men 2, that wouldn't have happened. They wouldn't have seen no flying ankles. They would have fucking explained the shit away. They're just like, no, this is why you make comic book movies, is so you can put dumb comic book shit on the fucking big screen, and they goddamn did it with this, and I loved it.
Yeah, no, he would have had nano something.
Yeah.
Nano wings?
I have
Nano-
techno
Yeah,
verse
techno-nano
hover
wings.
boots.
Yeah.
I kept thinking when I was looking at his feet, Namor's feet, I kept thinking Air Pegasus. That phrase was just because just wings on the feet.
Yeah.
Mercury.
Sure.
I really, really liked all the the Mayan imagery and stuff, but
Yeah.
I was disappointed that it's so dark. All the scenes that are
yeah.
underwater are so dark, and I
Yeah.
feel like I don't need it to be like right before this. We saw a trailer for the new Avatar movie,
Yeah.
and that is just like maybe it was impressive when it came out. I didn't see it until years later. It's like super bright in those movies though, and it just looks so synthetic that it's like this doesn't connect with you in any way. When you go underwater in this, it's like, oh yeah, it's actually underwater. The actors are clearly actually underwater in several of the shots. Okay, but it doesn't have to be that realistic where
Yeah.
you can't see anything down there.
But there were some moments where it was cool because it creates an element of suspense. Like for instance, when if you have like a headlamp and you're looking through the water,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like when they're in those special pressurized suits. Those were cool scenes because
Yeah.
it's just like, oh shit, you don't know what's past
That's
that
understandable.
point. Yeah.
But in
in
their
general,
city,
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, he brought the
in
sun.
a city
and
where he
it's
has the sun, yeah.
didn't do a very good job. Can you make a brighter one?
Yeah.
It was
dimmer
it was a
up.
very limited range.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
the sun was.
Very
yeah.
much.
I had like 2 complaints about that underwater shit.
Okay.
One, I hate that because I hate the thought of being underwater and then like in the beginning where she's like, "Oh fuck, that guy's missing," and they say that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
literally,
yeah.
that's like word for word. That's what they said. "Oh fuck, that guy's missing," and then like some shit's happening. I'm like, "Fuck, that scares the shit out of me."
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I will ever get in that situation. Hopefully not ever in my life, but like it freaks me out. 2, every time they like cut out from the underwater stuff, it is very bright. And for me, I was like kept having to look away for a second because it would be like dark, and all of a sudden they're like
Right.
back outside again.
Oh,
And I'm like,
so
oh
there,
shit!
yeah, there was no middle ground.
Yeah,
For it.
it doesn't
Yeah.
fade it. Like I was like, oh shit!
You just
Oh.
reminded me of my favorite line, and to paraphrase was, "Oh shit, she got an Iron Man suit."
Oh, yeah.
Oh
lot
yeah.
of shit.
Ironheart comes out.
Yeah, that shit. Again, this is why. I'm not gonna fake the funk like I read Ironheart or Riri Williams stuff. I know that it exists in the comics, but I know my goddamn 80s anime mech designs, and that shit's that's like that lady Transformer or one of these
RC.
fucking. What's that?
RC.
So cool. Yeah, that's just mech shit.
Macross.
So
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Distinct enough from the bulky Iron Man suits. And I know in the comics, I think she's like Tony Stark is her mentor and he like brings her up and everything. So obviously they can't really do that in this universe, but like there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to make an Iron Man suit if you had the brains, and she's like this, tech prodigy. So yeah, sure.
Well, if she was able to power it, that was the whole deal with Tony
Yeah,
Stark.
the arc reactor thing.
Yeah, but it's still cool to
But
see
she,
it.
but
and to see her
she
do it.
jumped. That's why she got the Wakanda tech. They got that shit.
Oh, when she made the new one.
Yeah, that shit was so fucking cool.
One of the suits was reminiscent of Bo-Katan from like the Star Wars Clone Wars, and also in Mandalorian. Katie Sackhoff played that character. It's like the same colors, kind of had like a more like oval mask.
Oh, the Dora Milaje upgrades, the
Oh.
Midnight Sun. and-
Yeah,
remember.
that
Yeah,
was
the
funny.
yeah,
They
like-
just look like bug people though.
yeah.
And they this is always something that bothers me in movies where there's melee combat. how can you tell each other apart? You're just like swinging and
Yeah.
like seeing who you hit. And they are like, their color is way too close to the
Yeah.
to the enemy.
avatars.
Yeah, to the Avatar people. It's like, now you're gonna be green and blue and look like fish. Bad idea.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
have targeting systems, I'm guessing, and I
No,
don't know.
not they do, but
Yeah.
not the people. Like all the people that
Right.
are fighting. I thought they were gonna kill M'Baku.
Oh, I
was
wasn't be ready
worried
for
about
that. We
that.
had too much. This is too much grief. I know you're not going to take away
Yeah.
the goddamn Gorilla King out of this. No
Yeah.
way.
For some reason, I thought just because, because I knew going into it that it was the end of a phase. I was like, yeah, you could have a bunch of death.
Yeah. Oh, they gave you a bunch of death, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you take away
Main
M'Baku.
characters, yeah.
Cool people.
Yeah. He was just sitting in that throne room eating a carrot. Goddamn legend.
That was great. At first, I thought it was like a weird Slim Jim, but then until they got up close.
They're vegetarian.
Yes.
Oh, I had another complaint. Well, sometimes the CG on the Black Panther suit was bad. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I really disliked how much slow-mo there was in this one.
Yeah.
It was overused and when you didn't need it, and I'm like, this is not a DC movie. Speed this up.
There was that water, explosion that was just like, okay, yeah, we get it. We know.
Yeah.
We've been seeing water the whole movie. It's not that dramatic.
No, that wasn't good. And it didn't sit well with me during the first scene also when they're kind of doing the funeral procession and the dancers are there and they're dancing and then it's like slow-mo for like a minute. It really takes you out of the concept of it being like a joyful thing.
Right.
They show you all these people in the streets and they're dancing and there's music and stuff. This is a celebration of this life. He was a great king. And then it kind of just goes into slow-mo for a bunch.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, maybe this is because Shuri is not feeling this, so it's kind of a daze for her or something. But I think it was a bad call.
I guess with the action stuff, it's somewhat hacky, but it's also like there's a lot going on. I think they are like literally slowing it down to let you catch a breath, I guess, between the fucking crazy battle happening on the
but
ship.
to
and
Justine's
the
point, it
hand-to-hand
didn't really
thing.
add anything.
Yeah, I'm not a slow-mo defender. I'm not a Snyder cultist. Take me out of that conversation. But the action stuff all did ultimately work. Seeing like Black Panther and Namor just duke it out on a beach felt like a fight between two people, which is what it was supposed to feel like, as opposed to just the old PS2 graphics run wild that you get in a lot of these movies. Graded on a curve. And for me, this is like one of the better ones of these movies I've seen in a long ass time, man. Again, I think this one and the Spider-Man movie were the only ones I really liked from this quote unquote phase.
In a while,
Am
yeah.
I forgetting anything, Dylan? The movies that I liked?
You like the Captain America show?
I did like that one, and I love the She-Hulk show too.
You love the She-Hulk show.
And we're at the end of this phase here. Do you have a power ranking or post Endgame of any of these like connected with you?
I like Shang-Chi, and I'm like a minority in this one.
Yeah.
I guess I never really watched the shows. I saw the Captain America one. I like that one. And WandaVision,
Did you like that one though?
it was fine. I don't know. I guess it's like hard for me to just really dislike anything. Like whatever. It's a fucking comic book thing. Why am I gonna take this to my grave?
I'm with you. Actually, I really
Yeah.
liked WandaVision.
Yes. I don't care enough to like go on message boards like Colin, just be
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's
Fuck
pretty,
this!
it's pretty crazy that he's like typing stuff right now as he's doing this.
oh, he's
you know?
turning it off.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Put my upvotes against yours. Put my upvotes against yours. Put my upvotes against yours.
No, but like it's just not eye candy, but it's just like
Yeah.
shit that's happening. I'm like whatever, like a
Yeah.
child. Just put on like fucking this thing. I'm like yes.
That's a respectable take. Don't get me wrong. But,
No, I mean
arguing
like
it,
I
but-
obviously like all those other movies from the first, whatever you want to call that
Yeah.
act, hold a weird place in
Yeah.
my heart. I guess it's just like oh shit, like you see the start of the MCU.
yeah.
It's hard to replace all that shit, but I don't know. Like I would say I would rather watch the first like 25 movies
Yes.
than revisit Eternals. But like whatever. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
And I know it's not MCU, but like I don't love Aquaman, but watching it in a packed theater in Mira Mesa, it's like insane. Either people were sleeping or people were like eating it up. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of movie.
I guess I will say one of the worst ones though.
What's
and it's
that?
not MCU related.
Yes.
Was that Wonder Woman 84?
Yeah,
Oh.
that was
I always
flawed.
forget that movie existed.
I know.
Oh.
The first one was you just watch it and then dump it from your
Yeah, 'cause we
brain.
watched it. I think it came out like Thanksgiving Day of the first
Yeah.
COVID wave.
That was supposed to be such a ray of light too, because he
It's
was
supposed
like,
to be a savior.
yeah, like listen. The first Wonder Woman was really propped up a lot because of how rough the Snyder movies were, and even in Justice League, like the Wonder Woman character and Gal Gadot's portrayal was like a fucking joy to watch, and compared to the other shit going on. But yeah, that was a slog.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm kind of going with like the golden era of the Marvel stuff that I'm comparing everything to, and this one I think holds up to that. Give me the same feeling. It brought me back. I was really happy to have that thrill ride kind of feel without kind of being bogged down.
The music in this one really did it for me. Like
Yeah?
I was feeling it the whole time. Like there wasn't a selection where I was like, eh. Even like the Red Hot Chili Peppers thing, you're like, wait, why is this? Oh, because this motherfucker's jogging.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know what's my favorite part about that scene?
Tell me.
The lady behind me going, "Who's that?"
That woman had no clue what was going on the entire movie.
I loved it.
She was also the only one that was like making noise at certain points because everybody was like pretty reverent, and she'd just be like shifting around and like fumbling with red vines. Like, hey,
Yeah,
maybe-
my favorite was like the bag sounds.
yeah.
That was awesome.
Theaters are back.
Yes.
There were a lot of people.
Yeah, concession stand bumping.
Yeah, and like there were, you know how these things roll out. They're like every 15 minutes another one starts,
Right.
and I looked through them all, and I was like, dang,
Yeah.
like, people.
This is a Thursday night we went to, so you
Yeah.
can imagine this weekend's going to be bumping. And again,
It's good.
yes, reward this fucking film. Let's make this kind of a gold standard as far as like the effort you can put into the movie and hopefully get more money out of it than when you phone it in like some of these fucking things.
You know what I didn't mention is I really like there was a lot of languages.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. And there was like French in the
Mhm.
beginning, and then there was like Haitian French when they're in Haiti.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you had, I don't know what the language is called, but they're like the Mayan people.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what they're, Atlanteans. It's
Sure.
Atlantis, but they call it something else because it's Mayan
Avatar.
stuff.
God damn it. We are going to get the wrath of the Submariner
I
stands
know.
on us.
He said mutant.
He said mutant.
He said mutant.
Again, you saw me open mouth pointing at screen.
I heard
mutant.
you actually like, oh!
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm like 3 seats away from you.
Hey, you know what might be cool?
Submariner was the first mutant too.
It might be cool watching T'Challa Jr. grow up because that
Yeah.
kid was charismatic as hell. I love his big head. I love his vocal inflections, and there's something about him that just really jumped off the screen.
I
at
don't
me.
know, man. If recent events have taught me nothing, it is so fucking dangerous to hang your head on. Like, for instance, I don't know if they would include those easy wave runners in those film if they had been shooting in recent times. I think maybe
Yeah.
those might get CGI'd out in further
Sure.
installments. I don't know. It's a dangerous thing to hang too much character on a person, especially when they're a young person. You don't know what the hell they're gonna get into. when
Yeah,
they
it's like
grow up.
Casey Lang, Ant-Man's daughter. Ant-Man gets snapped, or he comes back
Right.
from being in the shrunken zone, and then his daughter's like 10 years old.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey Dad, what's up?
Oh shit, Dad, what the fuck? What, Casey?
Oh yeah. There is all those.
Is that your Paul Rudd?
That's my Paul.
You know
Good
what?
job.
Casey.
There is all those delays. We've talked about them before in the MCU. So yeah,
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
gonna,
that
he's gonna
kid-
be 16 before you
Yeah,
know
that
it.
kid might not come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He's gonna
whatever.
be able
First
to-
and last time we see this kid.
He'll be able to dunk next time we
Yeah.
see it for sure.
So okay, quick wrap up. Is it Wakanda Forever or are you a goddamn colonizer? For me, this is Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, Wakanda Forever.
Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
All right, no colonizers here. All right, so next up we've got Tar, a film by Todd Field, starring up-and-comer, rarely seen on screen. This is an underdog, Kate Blanchett, in an understated performance of the year. Didn't get much screen time, but you know what she did with it was admirable. I feel like Brent has just been sitting on his hands on this one, so I'll let my boy run wild. Take us into the tar pits.
Okay, Tar, oddly, perhaps not oddly, my most anticipated film for 2022. Like when we saw the preview a couple times, when you go to see every goddamn movie indiscriminately at your local theater, you're going to see a lot of previews of the same movie over and over and over. And this one, every time I saw, I just got more and more excited. Todd Field, I mean, he's not an entity that you'd necessarily know. If you're a bit of a dork, you'll know that he played Nick Nightingale in Eyes Wide Shut. Nick Nightingale was a musician within the context of that film. The character was named, of course, after the nightingale bird, which often hides and rarely sings when exposed. Nick only played piano at night in the most forbidden, darkest, and most secluded locale in the movie. He was a pianist that gave Tom Cruise the password to get into the secret mass party. The password was Fidelio, the name of Beethoven's opera. So basically, the reason I mention all this is because I felt that the movie was essentially Kubrick giving you his version of Whiplash, at least for the first half of the movie. So it's nice that there's all these, like, that the guy that played the weird musician in the Kubrick movie wrote and directed this thing. And again, that up-and-coming actress, Kate
McKinnon.
Something like that. Anyways, it was written specifically for her, and if she would have said no, this movie wouldn't have happened.
Wait, did he have a whole ass script written and then just plopped it on her lap?
No. I think it was a discussion. Just like, hey, I want to do this, but it has to be you.
There's no way you would have put all that work into it and then just put it on her. Just get Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
You
worked with her.
Fuck it, we're getting Paul Giamatti. Get in here.
Yeah, you worked with her.
Take this goddamn Kentucky one.
Yeah. So for this movie,
I don't fucking like this movie. This script is fucking bullshit. I played fucking Hella, and this is bullshit.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, we shouldn't disrespect Kate Blanchett like that. She obviously a fucking powerhouse of an actress. For this one, she had to learn German. She relearned piano, and she actually learned how to conduct for the role. The scenes of her conducting the orchestra are real. The audio that you're hearing is in real time. It's actually the Dresden Orchestra that's playing. Speaking of sound, the coolest thing about the audio, for me anyway, was you start at a very minimal level. It's a mono mix, meaning that everything that's in the right and left channel are identical. That's not common when you're doing a film. You'll have things and all the different channels like surrounding the audience. But what this movie did is they start mono and then they just keep adding layers and layers as it goes, so that when that scene that's in the trailer where it's shot from underneath, when she throws her arms out and it's a big booming symphonic sound, that's when you reach full saturation and all the speakers and all the subwoofers in the theater are actually just going full volume, and it has like this massive impact on your physiology, because you're just steadily being fed more and more signals that your brain is processing, and then it finally just opens completely up in this triumphant scene. Now, here's something that I've been dying to tell Colin and Dylan, but I didn't want to spoil it before we actually started talking about it here today. There's a scene where Lydia is jogging in the woods, and she's hearing screams. Do you guys recall that?
Yeah.
Okay, you've heard those screams before in your life. Can you guess where from?
Oh, if you said Dylan, then it means it's a Saw movie.
No.
Oh, goddamn it! What
It
is
is.
it from?
It's from a movie.
What's it from?
It's from the Blair Witch Project. At the end, when Heather is screaming when she's like when
She's that guy peeing in the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So if you pull up Blair Witch and you play the end of it, and then you like pull up that scene from Tar, it's the same exact thing. And
thank you.
Exactly. Why? I have no idea. I need to investigate that further. I wasn't able to find any answers. But I was thinking if our boy M. Night was the director, he would pan over to the right, and then the Blair Witch house would be there at 2 hours and 49 minutes. He'd be like, "Oh my God, it's the Blair Witch universe."
Yeah, I mean this is a good movie, capital G, capital M,
yeah,
a TM at the end of it. So it's like everyone's gonna tell you how good it is. I do kind of want to pick it apart or start with okay, it's great, but. Why the fuck did that scene happen? If you don't know, you're connecting it to the fucking.
No, it's because she is starting to fall apart as a person, and when that happens, you hear things, and that might be maybe that's replaying in her head because she watched the Blair Witch. I mean, there's possibilities there.
This brainiac fucking academic is just I think I will revisit 1999's Blair Witch Project.
Or maybe all right. Simpler theory. whatever film company put this together owns the rights to Blair Witch, and it's just like, well, instead of like recording more screams, we could just pull this.
Well, I don't know. I think it's easy to, when you're watching a movie that's like long and you're like, damn, it was long, but I would keep everything. And this was a movie like, damn, that was long, but I would cut some shit. Like I don't think it like hurt the film having those kind of fleshed out moments. It's like a character study. You kind of want to like get embedded with the character, right? So some of those more, for lack of better words, ambient moments are just like kind of adding flair or whatever, just letting you get to know the person more. But yeah, if I'm being critical or if I had to like chop this down, like all the shit where she's running, I don't think that adds anything to it.
So this movie has a lot in it.
Yeah.
It is a lot of stuff, and there's a lot that's kind of impressively deliberate but unnecessarily complicated.
Yeah.
And one of the big things in this movie is about contrast. So it's like you're seeing all these things that she has in her super buttoned up life, and then there's things that after she falls apart. And so one of the things is, and I can't quite remember the timeline, but I believe when you see her running first, she's running in the park, right? And then she hears the screaming, and that's kind of like the breaking of that running experience. When you see her the next time, she's running in that weird underpass, and it's kind of messy. It's a little bit more messy. And the next time you see her running in there is when it's messy, and there's those posters of everyone like scribbling all over her. So it's like, it's another one of these examples of the progression of how she's losing everything. Like in the beginning, it's it's really appealing how like precise they're doing things. You're seeing her get a jacket tailored for an interview or something,
It's
and
like
they're
based after this specific record that she has laid out.
Yeah.
She wants that.
Yeah,
kind of
and they're
shirt
showing
everything.
you like super sharp scissors,
Right.
making this stuff. The guy is like sharpening the chalk, everything is impeccable, right? She's being irritated by all these little noises, like the tapping in her car or whatever.
Yeah.
She doesn't like the guy clicking the pen. She's irritated by all that stuff. And then once you get to the end, she's in this city, it's a mess. She's like working at a cafe when there's honking and all this crazy stuff going on. And she's just like, this is the contrast to that. Her house, when she has everything all together, is like kind of brutalist looking. There's like everything's super clean. And then she goes back to her childhood house, and you see it's like wood
Cluttered,
and patterns everywhere. And like the whole movie just is her, downfall and getting more messy as it goes along. So I think that's where the running thing was. It's just kind of like a progression of how things are unraveling.
Yeah, it's consistent
for her.
like that. It consistently devolves. Serious question. Do you accept that as a parallel to, or maybe perhaps commentary on the downfall of culture and society itself?
I don't think so. I think
Because you go from an elevated form, you know what I mean, like of like orchestra and symphony, to just, hey, man, it's a fucking video game soundtrack.
I mean, they do. They put that in there just to kind of like
Show how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, exactly. So she's like,
Disgraced conductor.
yeah. So it's such a character study. It's about her, and it's about like seeing this somebody who's like exalted in academia. Now she's doing video games. This is what happened to you because you thought you were
got greedy.
better than other people. Yeah. And it's more about people having hubris or whatever. And then also about seeing if you can separate the artist from the art. And she's trying to defend it all the time. And then it's like, nope, nobody accepts that. You were wrong.
That actually, that brings us to probably the most memorable scene in the whole movie, which is where she's doing her master class at Juilliard. It turns out that scene, if you go back and watch it, is one take, which is pretty impressive. But also, what I appreciated is she actually ripped apart Juilliard. Juilliard's often regarded as the most prestigious, or one of the most prestigious musical schools you can go to. But personal note, one time I was working in a guitar orchestra. It was like 200 guitar players, and we had to get people from all walks of life, including Juilliard students. Those are the people that were the biggest problem, because they needed every single little thing annotated on the sheets, and they weren't willing to be what the conductor called musical. So there'd be a part where we'd get to a certain section and it would say improvise, and it just meant like do some harmonics or whatever, you know what I mean? And then just keep going when we get back to this measure. And they all threw up their hands. Improvise, what does that mean? They're like, you don't know what improvisation is? I go, yeah, but like what are we doing within the improv section? And he's like, just feel it, be musical, you know? And so, yeah, like there was some people that quit and some people had to be kind of, you know, removed because they just became such a problem. So yeah, I felt it was an accurate portrayal of a lot of sort of academic musicians. And I like that she kind of rallied against it. Even though it started to venture into like woke moralism, you know, critique, I did kind of like that because there was people that were depriving themselves of powerful classic works because of modern sensibilities, you know, in terms of who a person is, like you said, art and artist. I do tend to lean more toward the separation. Sometimes it's subjective. There's times where it's just like, nah, fuck that guy.
Well, I think that I mean, to go back to the character study issue, classical music is a real interesting way to couch the conversation because it is so like top down dictated, like these are the masters, this is the canon, this is this. And I think this character was sort of wrapped in the idea that your work will kind of save you, and whatever your improprieties are, it's going to be negligible next to your work. And so I think because of like these institutions of academia and whatnot, like she felt like she was already part of the canon, and thus she could kind of fuck around and be, you know, above reproach in you know, all the little fuckery she was pulling here and there. And that's kind of where I take umbrage with the psychological breakdown, because I don't feel like she really collapsed mentally or broke. If anything, I think she was really rock solid the entire time. Like, you know, as someone who was kind of growing or trying to change would be like, all right, my career is done, I need to pivot and get some therapy. She was like, no, I'm going to keep fucking conducting. I don't care if I'm in a different country and I'm beneath what I would consider, you know, my pay grade. I'm still going to be involved in it. So all the psychological trickery or stuff I kind of felt was taking away from these external things that were taking her down. And ultimately time, and that's mentioned a lot, like the time with a pivoting away from these kind of canonized, tenured ideals. You know, once you're in the ivory tower, you're in forever. And it's like, no, that's collapsing. Time is kind of taking its toll on us. Also thought it was really interesting. The whole time she's talking with other academics, she's talking with students, there's so much stuff flippantly mentioned, like, oh, well, Schopenhauer, you know, he talked about sensitivity to noise linked to intelligence. Oh, yeah, and he threw that lady down the stairs, too, so ha, ha, ha. And it's like, all of that stuff is mentioned flippantly, like it's little asterisks to these important figures' lives. But it's like, no, this is the modern world. That stuff does take a toll on you, and it takes a toll on your reputation and, you know, your place in the canon and all that. And I don't know, I see it more as like a shifting in ideals and this one person's kind of inability to shift along with it. And I did end up watching this fucking movie twice in like 2 days. So back
You
to
did?
back. Yeah, I saw it with Dylan, and then Justine was like not feeling well. So we didn't go to see it. And I was like, you should watch this movie, especially before we talk about it. So we went to see it again.
Okay, yes, you're the only one out of all of us that's seen it
thick.
twice. Did you get anything different out of the second viewing from the first that you didn't pick up?
You know, when it's such a tour de force
It is.
when you're watching it, like first run. I was like, all right, we're getting embedded into the world of classical music.
Sure.
I'm not really expecting a plot to creep up on me. And it's like, oh yeah, you have to hire like a charismatic actor to portray this because actual stodgy academics are not going to be able to. I don't know. I get the whole world's fucking jerking off over this this acting job, and it's kind of like, you know, when you get to read a script and just be like, no, the interesting thing about that, I'm glad you brought that up, because I felt that when I feel this music now, and this is me, of course, but, you know, when you get to just pretend to, you get to vamp and talk like a fucking, you know, some guy with the leather patch on the corduroy blazer, you know, the hard thing is coming up with the jargon and coming up with the actual things to fill in. But the pacing of that intellectual person who, not seemingly unto themselves, but perhaps channeling the energy of the academics of lore, when they are, you know, it's easy to do that shit when someone writes it for you.
Suck it, Kate.
I'm just saying. It's totally engaging and fun to watch on screen, but it's like, when I'm watching it the first time, I'm just, you know, letting it kind of go where it's going to go. I'm like, oh yeah, you have to have a fucking actor bring you into this world, because I think the world itself, academics in general, they're not like charismatic
people, real hardcore fucking artistic creators in any realm. I was thinking of is Harlan Ellison. He's like a writerly writer, but he was like good with media.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not often. Who's the lady that wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, who just like wrote the book and then hold herself up forever and won't talk to anyone?
Shit,
like,
I don't even know the backstory on that one. Yeah.
Legend. That's a writer.
Yeah.
So like, the conductor type, I think in real life, if you were actually trying to portray this, would not be like giving a TED talk so colloquially, which is why you need to hire actors to portray it. But watching the movie as it kind of unfolds and the plot comes in, I was not paying attention to all the cell phone stuff, but it's really important. That's kind of like her undoing. And then I saw it the second time during that Juilliard scene. You see the assistant lady filming in the background, like on her phone. So it's like, oh, so she was the one who maybe not edited it.
She leaked it out.
But she leaked it. And when you look at the angles, she's like kind of the only one that could do it. So I was trying to pay attention to that stuff, because the other thing that was, and I still don't have satisfaction with this, when she gets that book and when she has the metronome driving her crazy at night, there's sort of an implication that like someone's fucking with her, right? Because it all has that honeycomb design. And you also see that like
it's unresolved
in her kid's bedroom. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is obviously like a good movie. Let me like give this guy his due and look at all the breadcrumbs and see if
that's why I brought up Kubrick, because that's what he's known for. And this guy was obviously like kind of studied under him by being a part of Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, and all those like, what do you call it? All those psychedelic dream sequences, like with the bed on fire. Dylan, I want to talk to you about this.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that scene where their bed's on fire in the Amazon?
Yes.
Do you know how much that scene cost?
Yes.
How much was it?
It's like $1,000.
It's crazy, dude. Anyways, the bit is you take a scene from a movie and you're like, dude, you see that scene? It cost $1 million.
Yeah. The bit I first did it when they were watching The Matrix. It must have just been when he does that move. It was like, you know how much that scene costs? like $1 million. And it only works for stuff like that.
Sometimes
it's just
no. You can work it on anything. You can just pull that out and say, dude, you see that scene? You know how much that cost, dude?
$8.96.
You know how much that scene transition costs? Anyways, so yeah, I'm like looking at all that stuff and the symbolism and like, and I still don't have answers. Really.
Would you put it past the guy to stick red herrings like that in there for people that are looking for?
But it can't be a red herring. Okay, listen, this is just.
All right, so break it down.
It opens with the assistant lady very clearly filming, because it has that like live feature while there's
what's up? What phone is that? Is that an Android?
Bro, this is fucking,
It's fake tech.
Yeah, or some shit that I just don't know about. Because bro, I'm still on the iPhones. No, it's not. It's oh god, that's so funny. She calls it a dumb phone. It's not that hard to be one of these robots running around with a dumb phone. I can text all day. Legend. Anyways, it opens with her assistant filming her sleeping, and there's some conversation about like, well, you still love her or whatever, and then it cuts to all the technical credits and shit. And then the next time you see it, it's in their apartment again. The assistant filming it. The Juilliard thing, the assistant filming it, and it's also during the TED Talk part. There's a lady with red hair watching it, and they take a long time focusing on that back of this lady's head while the TED Talk is going on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so is that possibly Krista, because Krista, the lady that killed herself, she has red hair, but also who has red hair is the cellist, is also the lady that like is hitting on her after
her speech
or trying to hook up or whatever. She does not have red hair, so it's not her. Then the next time you see the phone texting, it's when they're at the book opening, right? And she's doing the reading.
Yes.
She's in the room, and it's the cellist that's texting.
Yeah.
So is the assistant texting with the cellist the whole time, and the cellist is this plant that's there to like uproot this lady's world, or is the assistant texting with Krista, or is Krista and the cellist and the assistant all in it together? So there's
I'd argue that it's almost Lynchian. There's some David Lynch movies where like you have to, like for instance Mulholland Drive, in order to quote unquote get it, you got to follow the color red. There might be elements of that in this movie too. Like you can follow the number 5. You know what I mean? Because Mahler's 5th, and then like as bad things start happening to her, the number 5 starts popping up. But what I'm saying is like what you just talked about might be like a way to go back and watch the movie. Just like only have that in your mind. Watch the movie from that perspective.
Well, I did, and it didn't get me anywhere. And this is kind of my. So I think there's something to be said about like ambiguity in films. In this movie, they leave a lot for you to just kind of. They leave it vague. You don't need to know about
how they adopted the daughter, like a lot of these things. Your mind fills in the mortar between the bricks. But at some point, is the vagueness kind of like laziness? Is it pseudo-intellectual? Is it pretension? If you're not going to fucking wrap it up and commit to like the part where, you know, she receives an email from someone saying like, oh, Krista faked her death and this was all a setup and you got what you got, bitch. Or something like the equivalent of that, to be like, here's what I was doing with this. I don't know. I'm torn on this. I don't like when I have to finish writing the script for them, but I also don't like being spoon-fed every fucking thing. And I like to be able to use my experience on Earth as a human being to be like, oh yeah, this is how people relate to each other and talk to each other. It just irks me when it's like I have to fucking finish a movie that you didn't choose to write. If I have to fucking pull out goddamn backlogs of fucking Composer magazine and read about some fucking person's life to, you know, no, tell me what the fucking plot is. Tell me what the story is. I don't need to know the secret society she was in before she joined up with this, or what this weird fucking trio of ladies she was rolling around with before one of them got exiled. I don't need to know all that. They tease a lot of that shit. And again, it's just, to me, a little sloppy. But all of those loose threads, it doesn't detract from the really impressive shit, which is, again, the immersion into this world and this, just look at this character at this place and the sort of ideological wrestling that it did with like the art versus artist and sort of how your conduct, especially in the current era, can affect how you're taken and who is immune and who isn't. It's a really fucking interesting movie and a lot to take in.
Yeah, I mean, like you and I, we could sit here and we could just ask these questions back and forth to each other, but that would be disrespectful to the big brain of the group who's just sitting to my left, and I don't know why we haven't asked him, like, let's just do it right now, okay? Dylan, what did this film mean?
Need or mean? What it needed was The Rock to fucking drive into the goddamn movie or something and just make this movie a little bit more fun.
Okay.
What it means is, what's her name?
Lydia
Tar,
a.k.a. Lindia, or whatever her real name was.
Linda.
A.k.a. Rat.
Rat
Switch
on
the
rat.
words around.
Oh, yeah.
Did you like the anagrams?
What she needed to do was just say, like, yo, that wasn't me.
I didn't do that shit.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
God, that's fucking...
Fire take,
Again,
dude.
this is why
Big brain
we
shit.
turn to you. You got
I know.
the thing.
That's what this whole movie fucking means. Just say you didn't do it.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Bro, if they use that as the fucking ending song instead of that dubstep shit, God, that would have been such a god tier troll.
I don't know. What does it mean? Well, you're going to ask yourself, like, what does it all mean? Beyond Tar, beyond filmmaking, beyond music.
Yeah.
What does it all mean? Well, you know, you're going to end up in Southeast Asia just doing stuff.
What are you
You're
doing?
puking.
Crocodile infested river.
Yeah, you're puking outside of massage parlors or
pick
whatever.
a girl. Which one do you want?
Number 5.
Oh, yeah, that's right, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, follow the number 5 throughout the movie. You'll
I don't know. I did question, like, why did she puke?
In order to complete the cycle, which is considered a huge honor, and she had to complete Mahler's 5th. When she's physically attracted to the masseuse that has 5 on her, and then the woman looks up at her, breaking the look away that they all had, you know, like it reminded her that, hey, you're never going to accomplish your crowning achievement.
What do you think?
Scornful too. I really liked that look. It was a well done.
It's nice.
Fuck you, fucking
Through the glass.
Fuck you, colonizer.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if she did Mahler 6?
That they have to leave that for Tar 2.
Oh, fuck.
Tar 2, back to the tar pit.
Oh, you know what? I'm coming back to do Mahler 6.
Tar 2, Tar Nation.
I did put that in one of my notes and I deleted it.
You did?
Yeah.
What? Do you have any other notes on
I only have one sentence.
What does it say?
Tar. What in Tar Nation?
That's what we just covered. Amazing.
All right, my only note I took for Tar. I can't believe Jigsaw's wife is Tar's wife.
Dang.
I don't think it's actually her, but I was like,
It
the whole time I was
reminded
like,
you of her.
is that Jigsaw's wife?
Yeah.
Damn, she actually took an acting class? That's crazy.
Justine, did you like Tar?
I did.
Okay.
And it was very long.
Yes.
Did you want The Rock to show up?
No,
in a car?
I didn't. I didn't need The Rock. But it's kind of weird that like it didn't seem as long as it could have because the pacing was kind of interesting. It kind of quickly moves along.
It never settles in. It just
Yeah. And it just looks great. It just
Yeah.
looks amazing. Obviously, it's like if you like architecture or design of anything, it's
Yeah.
like
In the interior,
So good.
interior design, interior decor,
yeah.
all
Yeah.
that stuff.
yeah. it's all-
Inside, fancy looking shit.
yeah, just a bunch of fancy stuff.
All this. I loved all the shit in the movie.
Dude.
Do you guys see all the shit? I was so taken aback.
Yeah, there was a lot of shit.
Dude. But to the film's credit, even though it was like moving along and everything, the time they took, even like long focuses on shots, long conversations that they had, like it didn't feel rushed, and you definitely get immersed into this weird subculture and world. And that pacing was, I don't know, probably the best part of the movie
Mhm.
in a movie that has a lot of good things. So I appreciated it. I thoroughly appreciated and enjoyed this adult, mature, big brain. I emailed my grandma about it. I was like, hey, have you seen this movie Tar? Few films I could talk to my fucking grandma about. You think I was like, hey, she's like a big brain lady. I can't be like, so Black Adam, you won't believe this. Grandma, check it out.
She
The
left a-
power hierarchy
She
of the
actually left a
DC
comment on her
universe has
Instagram
changed.
about Black Adam. You might
Yeah.
want to check it out. Yeah.
No, but I hit her up about Tar, and I hit her up about Woman King because she's like, it seems like things she would like.
Right on.
Those are my pick. Those are grandma's picks. Those are my two movies that I've seen this whole fucking year that I think my grandma.
I must
would
be a
like.
grandma then because I fucking love both of them.
Yeah, those are both really good movies.
Yeah.
But you know what was the best part of the movie?
Go on. Oh,
Petra.
the little child.
Yeah.
This motherfucker is such a good director. He got one of the best performances out of a kid I've ever seen.
Yeah, she's great.
You know how hard it is to get fucking kids to act like kids on screen? Jesus Christ. Impressive.
They must have like hired a child and not a child actor.
Yeah.
Good job, Nick Nightingale.
There we go. All in. Tar. Are we jumping into the Tar or are we exiting the orchestra? I'm diving in. I'm getting murky. It's going to be the La Brea Tar Pit for me. Justine, are you jumping into the La Brea Tar Pit or are you taking the exit off the 405?
In my electric car? No, I liked it. I'll sit in the tar. That's fine.
Look at me over here, covered in tar. But what's on top of the tar? I'm tarred and feathered.
Damn.
Oh, I'll join the orchestra pit.
You know what Dylan literally said to me after watching the
What?
movie? I'd rather watch a basketball game.
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say that.
I don't
said
mean to put you on blast like
I
that. I'm
said-
sorry. It was too funny. You
I
can
kind of
cut this
respect
out
the
if
shit out of it.
my joke was I'd rather watch it on TNT right before a basketball game happens.
No, but
I thought that
Show
was
me a guy throwing
it'd
a
be
ball around.
because it'd be really funny to watch that movie and then it follows a basketball game.
I think it'd be funny to watch that movie with like commercial breaks.
Exactly.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry to interrupt this conversation, but I see the fog rolling in.
Ooh.
I'm hearing a shillelagh going on in the background. I think we are being transported to the wonderful world inhabited by the Banshees of Inisherin.
Loved it.
5 stars.
This is the new movie from Martin McDonagh. He did In Bruges, famously, 3 Billboards and 7 Psychopaths. In my mind, less famously, but I don't know if that's just because I wasn't paying attention to those movies. Just a shame. Man, I enjoyed this movie. It's about 2 friends on an island. One of them decides he doesn't like the other one anymore. The other one has to learn to deal with it. And all the fallout that comes as a result. It's about a bunch of haters. A bunch of haters on an island being haters at each other.
But a bunch of boring people.
This movie is
Go
so...
off, Justine. Go off.
No, it's great.
That's the
It's
line in the
just-
movie.
That's
You're
the
all
whole
boring.
deal. Yeah. Yeah. It's about a bunch of boring people who have, like small lives with small problems that kind of they're all insulated, but really important.
Like the shopkeep, she gets upset if you don't tell her like
Gossip.
gossip.
Because they're
Yeah.
like on an island and
Yeah.
it's so small. There's nothing going on. Everybody knows everybody and everybody's business.
fucking cops drunk with power.
Yeah.
Even on a desolate island with very few people on it, there's still like
one cop.
geographical lines. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
they're from the other side of the island. Like, what? It's like 10 paces away.
And the true sadistic sociopaths drawn to law enforcement.
Yeah, exactly.
So they said this broke 2 of my rules, which is doing a period piece, but making it very sparsely populated and just setting a movie in the past so that you don't have to, deal with cell phones or social media. But this time, none of that shit bothered me. I was so engrossed in this world. This is like my cottage core Pinterest board just come to life. I fucking loved the atmosphere. Should they only do like cold movies in the fall and like hot movies in the summer?
No.
Yeah.
Because this was like, I'm going to start paying attention to this now that I watch every goddamn movie. I'm going to pay attention to what season it is in the film. Because this was like a perfect fucking fall movie, all like cold looking and wet and damp and so fucking, so cozy. Anyways, but
For context, we live in an area that's basically 70 degrees year round. We don't really get a lot of
it's
seasons.
been like 58 degrees lately and it's fucking sucked. Anyways, I think the reason you do this and you tell this story where it is and when it is, it's like you want to just simplify it. Take all the bullshit away. It's just about like how important is just getting together and talking, and like how insane would it make you if the one person you get together with and talk with every day is just like, I'm sick of talking to you. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Why? What'd I do? Nothing. I just don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah, 'cause I don't like you anymore.
Yeah,
That's what I
again,
said,
you can't do that like when you can turn on the TV even. You can't do that when you can go to the library and check out a book. Like you have to do this in this kind of isolated place so that
All you can do on the island is go to the pub.
and talk to people. Just conversation. This is conversation porn. This is just everyone's a chatty Cathy and just talks all the time, and that's how you pass time. I also really like stories about male on male relationships.
Yeah.
Just true, like fraternal brotherhood kind of stuff. Two dudes talking.
Without it being a caricature.
Yeah, or like, queer baiting. No, this guy just likes talking to this other guy, and this other guy just gets sick of talking to him.
Yeah.
It's so goddamn good. In a weird way, that's like my favorite aspect of Superbad, which is like, I know a real broad reference, but like that was to me like run really true to like high school days, especially like my high school days pre-internet, which is just two fucking weird, sad, dry dick boys just sitting together and watching fucking VHS tapes, like I connect to those kind of stories. In media, I think they're kind of either underpresented or just presented in such silly ways. You get like Fast and Furious territory, or it's like a girl comes between them or whatever. It's very rarely portrayed in its like a pure form and the true unadulterated bonds of friendship. I don't know. I think it probably makes men uncomfortable, and women can't really connect to it or put themselves in it. So it's not really a fun story to tell, but I fucking love it when I see it. And I think this movie did such a great job at it. I laughed a lot. It was very fucking funny. I don't know. It touched me in the bottom of my soul.
So I saw this independently of you and Justine, and I don't know what your crowd was like. I had
you want to know what our crowd was like? It was me and Justine. You're looking at
that
the
was
crowd.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is double the crowd that was at our theater.
So I think I went to one of the first showings, let's just say for argument's sake, right? So I had 6 other men all sitting by themselves, and at the end, 3 of them tried to talk to each other, and it was the funniest goddamn shit I've ever seen. So like, what'd you guys think? It's like they tried to kind of be masculine, but
like
also
middle-aged men, or
it was a mix. You know what I mean? I would say
Okay.
like the youngest, probably 27, but then it went up.
so it was all single dudes in
All
attendance.
single dudes. One
God,
guy
that's
like
so fucking cool.
moved. Like after I sat down, he kind of like sat closer to me, like the row behind me,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
probably 2 seats over, and then put his feet up. You know what I mean? And like it was really funny because it was all guys
That's great.
by themselves, like
Yeah.
just kind of like, well, man, if we're here, we probably have similar interests, but it's fucking awkward to talk to each other after the movie. Yeah.
I think different people will probably connect with different things in this movie
Absolutely.
because, okay, you see like the camaraderie between people, but I also felt like this is a movie about loneliness, you know, like how
isolation.
how necessary human interaction can be. And that it's like, if this is your lifeline, to existence
And sanity.
if you don't have the one person that you're kind of, I don't know, existing to,
Right.
then like you're not there anymore. So watching, he has a weird name. It's like Patrick, but it's
Murder.
they say it differently. You see him and it's all he has, you know?
Yeah.
He sort of has interaction with other people and stuff, but it's not like talking to this guy was
Yeah.
a big deal. I don't want to talk to you. You know, what do you want to talk about? It's like, just talk. Normal conversation.
And he said something like, "You're really boring." He's like, "Well, then you just change what you're talking about."
It's like, what about this useless? Not useless. Normal.
Did Colin Farrell like do something with his eyebrows?
Those
for
are
this movie?
severe eyebrows.
He just has severe eyebrows.
Okay, yeah, I just haven't seen him in a while, or like I haven't noticed his eyebrows before, something like that. Let's talk about the third act. When it hit, how did you respond when fingers started being removed and the tone shift quite a bit?
From the sheep shears, right?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
insane, dude. It's nuts.
It was unexpected enough to be shocking, but I wouldn't say it was like unearned or like out of nowhere or all of a sudden.
at
or
all, yeah.
Even a tonal shift, really. It's just like, yeah, this is what you do if you live on an island and you are kind of have a screw loose. I guess they did such a good job like building the setting, just showing how melodramatic everyone was, to just be like sorrowful and just have a heavy heart and I don't know, all of that kind of stuff. It felt fitting in a way to, you know, it has to escalate, it has to go somewhere, you know?
Mhm.
And that's another thing I liked about the movie is like stuff happens because it's very easy to just have a pretty looking movie where nothing happens or a clever movie that doesn't really have a finale.
It was
And this-
funny enough that it could have just been funny.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wouldn't have like hated it if it didn't
Yeah.
have anything happen. But man, there's like
Oof.
huge exclamation points that come out. And I liked it from a story structure perspective. I respected the choices. It all kind of fit.
Yeah, I think the tone sort of stays the same. It's silly enough and it's witty and they're talking a lot and it's really funny, and then it's like, here's this thing, this guy's gonna cut his fingers off. Okay, that's silly enough, you know.
Yeah.
So you
Like,
took it as silly.
But
Okay.
shucks it at the door. That's
yeah,
like,
that's silly. That's like, this is funny.
Okay,
you know?
yeah. Again, maybe because I was with my community
Yes.
of men that went to the movie by themselves, right? I got lulled by the comedy. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I love this.
a lighthearted
I'm
fun
like, look
fair.
at this. These guys are funny. This is just a well-made movie. Oh my God, I'm loving this. And then all of a sudden, she's like, oh God, he really cut off the finger. Oh, he's throwing it at the door. And then, okay, so he's cutting off more. There's animals dying. You know, like, it gave me this like disgusting physiological sensation
Yeah.
that got my heart racing a little bit. I'm like, oh, what else is coming? If they're gonna kill animals and throw fingers and Jesus Christ, he's still trying to play violin with fucked up fingers. Like,
Yeah.
it became unsettling for me. And it's not because I didn't anticipate it
Right.
escalating. It was just like oh, they did go there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
they're continuing to go there. And I just like, I don't know, the characters just got weirder for me. You know what I mean? Like they brought in like the actual like banshee woman.
Yeah.
You know, and she just kept getting nastier and nastier
Oh,
and
I
being like just omnipresent.
That's just
Yeah.
it. The more time you spend in a small town or a small
Yeah.
isolated
You're
place,
gonna
the
run into
weirder it
everybody
fucking
all the
gets.
time.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's quaint when you're passing through, but if you've lived there your whole life, you're just like, yeah, that's the guy that molests kids, and that's the guy that I just fuck him.
Yeah.
You just have chip on your shoulders about people, and so yeah, the longer you spend in the movie, the more fucking intense and kind of oppressive the tone gets.
I'm gonna get my ass kicked by stealing my naked dad's booze, but I'm gonna steal it anyway. Like,
Yeah. There are like, serious things in it, but it's still presented so like this is just how people
Yeah,
are
yeah.
and how life is on this island. I really think the tone only shifted after the donkey died.
Yeah,
That's
God,
when
yeah.
you
Colin
feel
Farrell
different.
did not.
Yeah, you know, his sister leaves. He still isn't talking to this guy, but he doesn't care about that anymore. It's become
Yeah.
like, you know, you have the scenes of him in his house with all the animals just kind of walking through because
Yeah.
nobody's going to tell him not to. And he already told his sister, the donkey's going to come in here while I'm sad. And then it's like the donkey's not even there. So he's letting all these other animals in, but it's not really doing
it's
anything
not the same.
for him.
Yeah.
This is his despair. Like the
Yeah.
priest is talking to the guy, how's the despair? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. But you're seeing Colin Farrell's character. He has nobody. And then it's like, I'm going to burn your house down, whether you're in it or you're not. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. And the guy who's going to chop off his fingers, he's definitely going to burn this house down. Yeah, he burned the house down.
That's the other part, is that the rules of the island at that point, you've kind of like acclimated to them, and
Yeah.
you realize, oh, when they say something, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So like after, if this guy's gonna actually cut his finger off because the guy talks to him, then yeah, he's really gonna burn this fucking house down, which means anything goes. So, Banshees of Inisherin, are we kissing the Blarney Stone, or are we leaving Ireland because of the potato famine? Me, I'm gonna kiss the Blarney Stone. This was a delightful film from start to finish.
I'm gonna move in to a little witch hut by the lake
Cool.
so I can pull bodies with a hook.
Ghoul mode.
Yeah.
I'm on that same frequency. Yeah.
Double
I
ghoul
like that
mode.
aspect. Absolutely. What about you, Dylan?
I'll be kissing the Blarney Stone.
That's what's up. Yeah, it was a great.
Yeah, that
time,
movie
right?
was great, dude. Like I like the cinematography was great. The way it looked was great. The acting was spectacular. Like it was great.
Felt like a movie, didn't it, Dylan?
Yeah, and like the setting, like like the plot, the filming, it was all great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk about a beautiful place. Like you were you
Yeah.
were talking about like
Pastoral.
that's what I'm saying.
no, you were talking about like Ticket to Paradise, which
Right.
did not do that.
Ticket to Paradise was like it was pretty in the way that like candy tastes good, a little on the nose in terms of prettiness. This was like a different kind of.
Yeah, no, I just think that it didn't do what this movie does, which is really immerse you in
Right.
how giant it is, how you can feel so isolated,
Yeah.
and you just didn't feel Bali. Just felt like a resort.
You felt like you were looking at a brochure.
Yeah, exactly. You're like pitching you, come here.
I actually meant to look up where this was filmed.
I can't imagine it wasn't on
I
an
know,
Irish
but
island.
then they just brought up this other movie where we thought it was on an island, but then they bait and switched us, and they threw us in Australia, where fucking Kate Blanchett was fucking studying. The script is fucking good.
Yes.
It was filmed in Irish islands.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were legit, whereas Ticket to Paradise
Was
was bullshit.
lying.
Where was Wakanda filmed?
Green screen.
Yeah.
Studio.
Oh wow. And Tar was so fucking sick.
Yeah, you like that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, Tar was good.
The more you think about it, the more it stays with you.
Tar was good. Banshee was good. Well, Black Panther,
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever was good. You know who I was really hoping for? In my mind, I really was hoping like Jaws showed up.
Funny.
Jaws.
You
There
said
was no
Jaws?
shark.
Yeah.
Funny you mentioned that because the whoever was in charge of the visual aesthetic for Wakanda Forever referenced Jack Kirby comic books, Jaws, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind in terms of the inspiration, the inspo board.
Well, I didn't
There
see
we
any
go.
Jaws, so I saw Free Willies.
There was a lot of free willies.
I didn't see no Jaws though.
Brent, solo missions.
All you have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to you.
Secret missions. What do you watch on your
Well,
own?
So I did some extra credit. I noticed that Dawn of the Dead was playing at our local theater, and I'd never seen it on the big screen. So I went, and as I was logging into the self check-in, I noticed that it said 3D, and I said, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
And went over to the lady at the counter. I said, "I think I need 3D glasses." She goes, "For what?" And I said, I went there. I went over to the main counter. I was like, "I think I need 3D glasses." She goes, "For what?" And I said, "Well, for Dawn of the Dead." She goes, "For what?" I said, "Dawn of the Dead." She goes, "Okay." And then she started looking around the counter.
Yeah, yeah.
Like not even like really looking. She goes, "I don't see any." I go, "So you don't have any 3D glasses?" She goes, "Let me go look over there." And she started just opening a bunch of cabinets behind the concession stand. She eventually found like a pair, and I went in, sat down, made it through like all the normal pregame ritual. And the movie starts, and it's like, okay, put on the glasses. It's kind of like, it's really blurry. Take them off. It's really blurry. Put them on. It's really blurry. I start moving around the theater.
Yeah,
I'm
try
like,
to
maybe
get a
my
good-
angle's off. I don't know what's going on. Whatever they gave me just didn't work with however they rendered the film whatsoever. So the whole time I'm just like, okay. I would just gone home.
Yeah, I'll go.
But because I was in
So
Esco,
deep
I was
out.
like, you know what? I'm gonna tough it out because some scenes were clear if you watch it without
Yeah,
the
yeah,
glasses,
yeah.
right?
That's like a real movie. You don't need gimmicks on top
Oh.
of it. It's so frustrating.
So I went on the internet like
Uh-huh.
you do, and I said, "Are other people having this problem?" Yeah, a lot of people have this problem. Apparently was like a couple Regal locations where they actually had the right 3D
Right,
glasses that
right.
you needed for that particular print of the movie, and the people said, "I don't know why they gave it to us because the only thing that was cool was like the water."
Right.
But the things that you would think you would want to see, the zombies, weren't dimensional at all.
Because that kept me out of the theaters. Ultimately, I was
Yeah.
like 50. I was like, let's go. Fuck, it's 3D. Fuck.
No, don't fucking lie.
They said it was
You
an
know
extra $3.
Yeah, it was the $3 fucking.
It didn't cost extra $3. What are you talking about?
That's what's crazy. Yeah, he said they didn't actually charge you $3.
Free.
In the app, it said there's an extra $3.
No.
Yeah.
Because
And that's what like turned
it
off
was.
Colin. I was like, fine, I'll go. And he's all like, I don't want to.
In all fairness, I really genuinely didn't want to see the movie in 3D.
Yeah, no,
I'm with
obviously
you,
no one
yeah.
wants to watch it in
Yeah.
3D.
It was considered a classic without ever being
Yeah.
in 3D. So they bring it back to theaters for the first time in however many years, and then they make it 3D. They don't even give you the 2D option.
And it's not like Romero heads are fucking like, I don't
Clamoring
know.
for it, yeah.
Seen it too many times. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll fucking show up, bro. If anything, the 3D factor will make us not.
And then the other night, there was a one-night only showing, which is called Meet Me in the Bathroom, which is a pseudo-documentary adaptation of a book that was written by Lizzie Goodman several years back. I liked the book. Some of the bands covered Yeahs and the Strokes. They also cover James Murphy.
He was a
Check.
singer of LCD Sound System?
Yes.
Oh, the suit guy.
The guy.
Okay.
Yeah. In the context of this, even the Strokes are just like, yeah, man, we were playing these DIY shows. It was great. That's what we were concerned with, is just, playing locally, having fun, and things just kind of got out of control.
Yeah.
All the bands were like this, except fucking James Murphy. He just went into this like big
Right.
highfalutin position. They also had Ryan Adams in it. Courtney Love was in it. You had Liars. If you remember that band, they were in there. Moldy Peaches was covered. It was.
Did they try to push semi-precious weapons? I feel like that's
No.
a band that gets like
They actually didn't.
shoved into that stuff. Yeah, this is a whole fucking quote unquote scene around like 2 good records.
Yeah.
Is Interpol in the mixer? In New York,
Yeah,
then,
Interpol's
right?
in there, and what's
Yeah.
funny is like they were, they didn't look like they were having a good time at any point. Maybe that's living the gimmick a bit too much. The way they speak and the way they reflect upon the times, you're just wondering the whole time, like, did you have any fun with this, or did you get anything out of it? The Strokes were like, you could tell they're friends, and they love playing music, and they love playing music in New York even to this day. It was just kind of like Karen O didn't feel she belonged anywhere until she met Nick Zinner, and Nick was like, "You want to play music?" But I would say if they would have focused on Yeahs and the Strokes, it would have been like a really lovely watch. But they kind of go into some of the more
Yeah, you got to go a little bit broader.
Yeah, and I
but
didn't-
that's
I don't think it
again, none of that shit matters.
It doesn't
doesn't
matter at all.
care,
Yeah.
no one-
There was
Why
like
make
really.
it?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
Why make the movie?
Well, 'cause
Just
it-
make like 2 episodes of behind the music or whatever.
Interestingly
and get
enough,
over
yeah,
it.
I was like, well, who directed this? And it's just Vice.
Sounds about right.
I mean, oddly enough, like it was better than the book, just because I think when you're trying to cover a scene, unless you're like a really good writer, you need some visuals.
Or
to
it's an
reference.
interesting fucking thing. That's what's so funny about this music and like it being kind of celebrated as like classic and everything. Like there is all these bands. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but there's like objectively 0 original ideas on any of these
Yeah.
records. Is This It is a fucking stone cold classic, but there is nothing.
Not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah, nothing original. And so it's like, yeah, cool, but you didn't come up with this shit. It's not that like mind blowing what you're doing. It's
Well,
not
and
that
to their
important.
credit, they weren't going for what happened.
Yeah,
That just got hot.
it's a non-story that
Yeah.
turned into a story. But I guess
So yeah, if you're a fan of these bands, or that you're curious about that era, then yeah, you can meet it in the bathroom.
Had to be there, genre.
yeah.
Yeah. Dylan, you want to take us out?
Unlimited.
What's up, motherfuckers? Hope you like this week's episode. Get your utensils, chef's hats, and bibs. We are gonna go to a dinner party at the Menu. What is it about? I guess people go to a dinner party and stuff happens. We also got She Said, Let's fucking go! Anyway, till next time, bye.